Cool. All right, what's up, everybody? This discussion section, like Peter said, is kind of go over the homework, if you guys have questions. And then once we wrap up doing like homework things, we're going to start talking about the next lab, which is involved in its own way. So you should start it if you haven't, or at least start thinking about it. All right.
Read the handout.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't done that, read the handout. That's for sure.
That's a good idea. So first question is, has anyone already turned in the homework? If you have, raised your hand. Oh boy, all right, cool. So a lot of you guys have done that. So I guess instead of just taking general questions, which I will still do if you guys just have general questions, we can just talk about some of the problems that were on the homework, and if you guys were confused about anything, we can address that. So, are there any questions on the homework, I guess, in general? Something that you were confused about? Yes?
Definitely the problem on turning the multi-way relationship into a binary one.
What was that number? That was 4.2.
4.14.
Okay. Turning the multi-way into
Page 139.
yeah. Page 139. Let me pull that problem up here. So the question was on converting multi-way to a binary relationship. Just announcing for the listeners at home. Next. And you said that was 4.1.4, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Four.
Yeah.
4.14.
Yeah. Oh,
It's page 139.
okay. That helps me just as much. I just want to make sure I'm reading the question. All right. So, design a database suitable for no. 139. 4.1.4. Yeah. Okay. Draw a modification. So this is the teams that have the triples and the led by. Draw the modification, such as player 1. Place your ternary relationship with the new entity set and a binary relationship. All right. So we start off with A. So,
What's the actual question? Which one do you have a question about? Converting the ternary back into binary?
yeah. So she wants to convert the ternary. Sorry, I'm a little slow on the uptake. I'm just reading the question all the way. Led by among 2 players and a team. Yeah. Okay. So, what did you try and do, I guess, is the first thing I'll ask before I get into the actual answer.
I created like a leadership entity that just consisted of 3 relationships.
Okay. Wait, what did you call the entity sub?
Just like leadership, kind of like a weak entity that
Yep.
just relates to different things.
Which sounds like a good thing to do. So, one way that you could think about this is we originally have players, and it's a relationship between 2 players and what is it, a team, was it?
Yeah.
All right.
Like a captain, a player.
Yeah. Team. So one thing that you can do to think about solving it, which sounds like you did by making leadership as an entity, is literally just add another entity. It's that simple. So in this one, you can think of something like, I'll just draw it here. And I'll just literally name this X because I don't really care what we name it. But in the meantime, we'll just say X. And you'll have like something that is inside of X will like kind of define that there was like a captain at one point and players at another point. And so you can make a new relationship that said like led between X and players, and then like lead or just another relationship here. And we'll connect it like here. And what did we call that one? Lead. We'll call this another thing like lead. And then you can just like, kind of using this X entity, just mention that there was that relationship dynamic. And then from this new guy, we'll say that we'll link this guy back to team doing like, and we'll call it like captain or something like that. But yeah, literally just adding another entity relationship solves the whole problem. Whether it's weak or anything like that, yeah, you pretty much got it right. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Any other questions on the homework? What did you guys think of the homework, I guess, is another good question. Too much, too little? Well, I know you guys will always say too much, but yeah, what's up?
I just want to confirm how it goes with a weak entity relationship for the last question? No, the second to last.
What's the number of that one?
Do I have,
Is this the one with the moms and the births and
yes,
all that?
the moms and giving birth.
Okay.
This one.
So what is your question about that one that you're trying to?
As in,
I-
I guess
We can go over the whole problem if you want.
Sure, can we do that?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So let me pull up the problem again on page. So that's 4.4.2 or something like that. 4.4.3, right? 4.2.5. 4.2.6. Okay, so essentially, let me make sure that I pull up the diagram right and I'm not just writing the answer. Just so we can all work through it. Okay, so we start off with our entity diagram, which is births, and then we have, I think it's babies, moms, I'll call it, docs, and nurses. All right. Excuse my really bad box drawing, but you kind of know what we're talking about, and I'll just say diamond because it doesn't name it. Diamond, diamond, and one last diamond. I'm bad at drawing diamonds. All right. So that gives us this diagram, and it says another approach to the problem is to connect the four entity sets, babies, mothers, nurses, and doctors, by an entity set, births, with four relationships, one between each of them, basically. And it's saying to start using arrows, indicating that certain of these relationships are many to one, to represent the following conditions. And then another thing that it mentions all the way at the bottom after A, B, and C, it says, in each case, what design flaw do you see? So yeah, let's actually just run through it just to make sure that we're all on the same page for it. So, first one is every baby is the result of a unique birth, and every birth is of a unique baby. Cool. Does anyone have any idea on how we'd represent that on this diagram here? Making sure that I'm capturing it all. Does anyone have any idea how we'd fill that out to represent that each?
We all submitted the homework, so somebody here knows.
That's true. Somebody should know. What do you think?
You put a curved arrow on both ends.
Curved arrow.
Where's the baby?
So what you're saying, you mean the like referential integrity? So unique, you could say that if you're saying that for every birth there must be a baby, and for every baby that must have come from a birth, but that's not necessarily what it's saying. I mean, that is something that you could definitely add, and it's definitely a valid thing.
I disagree.
You disagree?
It says every baby is the result of a unique birth. That means a birth has a baby, and every birth is a unique baby, so I think you need both.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, we can add that to start off with. So we could say that the curved arrow is saying that both are required. that makes sense and all that. Is there anything else that we need that anyone can think of? Nobody?
Come on, you guys,
Just for A?
Yeah, just for A.
almost every one of you submitted the homework, so you did something for this problem, so what did you do?
And there's no bad answers. I'm not recording you, I'm just recording myself. And chances are the mic's not gonna pick up on your voice, so no one's gonna like figure it out either, so. And I just said something really stupid because referential integrity is probably a good idea for this as well.
Okay, so let's put it this way. You guys probably mostly came here for the project, but until we're done with this problem, we can't do that. So someone has to.
Ooh, I like that approach.
Someone has to answer this.
Well, I just did the one-to-one instead of having the referential integrity, but
So you did 1-to-1? You did that?
yeah.
I like that. That's what I was leading to, essentially, which is good. Because that means for every one every one birth that you have, it's going to map directly to one baby. But yeah, referential integrity is probably even a better way to describe it.
It's good to have both.
It's good to have both.
You can do both.
Now,
That's a question.
yes.
How are they different?
So when you're using referential integrity, I don't think there is a difference. No.
Okay, so uniqueness, right, is what you think it is, right? It says that for this relationship, there is one entity from this entity set. Right, so uniqueness means like at most one, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean not zero, right?
Yeah.
So a better way of thinking about uniqueness is it says if there's an entity in this entity set, it's only related to one of these relationships. Referential integrity means that there is always a baby, right? So they mean different things, right? So like the better way of looking at this is like, say that there is referential integrity here but no uniqueness. That means that you could have a birth with multiple babies, but you can't have a birth with no babies, right? What uniqueness says is that you can have a birth with one baby, but you cannot have a birth with multiple babies. Referential integrity just means this has to be there.
Yeah, something has to be on the other end.
Does that make sense?
So, if anyone was listening to Mike, what Mike just said, is there any design flaws that you see with saying that every unique birth has a unique baby? Yes.
It's kind of morbid, but I guess if the baby passed away immediately.
Yes, that is a thing. I was thinking about something else, but yes. What? Twins. See Octomom. Yeah. So every baby isn't necessarily the result of a unique birth. And it's just, this question saying what design flaws do you see? It doesn't mean that your model of this ER is wrong. It's just saying like, what could you think of that makes it more like, what was it? Was it faithful? No, that's for the attributes. That helps model the actual situation better. You see anything where like, there might be a situation that it doesn't cover. And it's just asking you to do that stuff. Okay, so in addition to A, every baby has a unique mother. What do you guys think of that one? What do we need to do? Yes?
Many to one from birth to moms.
Many to one. So it's saying every baby has a unique mother. So you could say many to one births, but we're asking for babies. Good thought though. So when you think about it, can we actually do it by just adding arrows on this diagram? Is there anything that we see that connects babies to moms? No, we don't have anything. So let's just add a relationship. It says has, and it connects babies to moms. And what did it say? Every baby has a unique mother. Where do I draw the arrows for this? You draw it at mom. And why is that? Why do I draw the arrow to mom? Who said that? Yeah, a baby can't have two moms, and why am I not drawing an arrow going to babies? Moms can have many babies. There we go. All right. Final question.
Design flaws.
Yeah, anyone have any design flaw thoughts about this? I could think of technically one, but it's really picking hairs.
Either adoption or surrogacy or something.
Adoption or a surrogate mom.
Or
We're like,
same-sex couples.
or that, yeah. It just kind of depends on how you model it. Oh, okay.
Just a very quick question. So
Yes.
for this kind of database, so for example, if there's baby who's adopted, he has a mom for sure.
Yeah.
But that mom will not be in the database.
Yeah, the mom wouldn't be in the
Then
database.
Can we use this arrow has on something? Oh, sorry. What I mean.
So you have to think of the domain that you're modeling it in. So I guess an adopted mom wouldn't really fit into this database, so we don't think about them like that. We'd have to make like a new entity saying like parent or something like that.
I think the more general answer to your question is that these ER diagrams don't encode everything that you need to know about a database, right? So like a great example for this was, I think there was a question about sports teams, right? And the question is like, is there referential integrity between players and teams? And that depends, right? Because what if, you know, a player declares for a draft or declares that they're joining the league, but they haven't joined a team yet? Or what if there's an expansion team that doesn't have any players yet? So generally, you have to also motivate your design decisions and explain a little bit more about your database, which is why, for example, in the handout for the RWB lab and also for the portfolio lab, even if there is some kind of diagram that models what's going on, there's also an explanation.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, I guess adopted moms may not fit into this, but surrogates might. That might be a little complicated as well. Okay. So in addition to A and B, for every birth there is a unique doctor. What do we need to do on that one? Anyone? What's up?
Doctor gets an arrow, like on the relationship.
Yeah. Where do I draw this arrow? Here?
So on the doctor.
Yeah. All right, just making sure. But yeah, you just add it to the doctor. Is there any flaws with having that?
I guess somebody did go to the hospital. Well,
That could be one. It's not referential integrity necessarily, though.
Yeah, so this addresses your question perfectly, right? So that's a case where you could have a uniqueness constraint without referential integrity because it can be unique in that it's one at most, but it's not at least one, right?
Yeah. Another design flaw that I saw was what if you have multiple doctors on the birth? Maybe. But yeah. All right. Did that answer your question as we solved along this problem? Because
there's also 443 that has the entity set.
oh, 4 so you want to hop over to 4. Yep.
Yes, just
Okay.
by the way, get everything through.
Yeah. So let's hop over to 443. It's the same diagram, basically. Okay. So let's see if we can indicate any weakened entity set. So for each of these bottom ones, can we find a unique way to identify a nurse? I mean, if she's an employee, let's just give her an attribute of like an ID. I'm just going to do that for now. And also something, as we're going through, I'm going to add in a concept on top of it. Can we identify a doctor by any special attribute? Yeah. An ID. Can we do a mom by any attribute? I'll give you a hint. It might be the same thing as before. Yeah, so whenever a patient goes to a hospital, don't they give them like those wristbands or whatever? Like, don't you have to wear a wristband? And that kind of has like a barcode on it and they identify you. Can babies be identified certain ways? We're going to pretend that they have an ID. So these things all have IDs because they're actual like people. But How do we identify births? Could anyone explain that? Yes.
Are the babies ready? Because
Yeah, because the baby's literally in a one-to-one with that birth. So you can make births a weak entity set if you really wanted to. So you have births. And yeah, essentially what that does, creates a nice little supporting diamond to this relationship. These should all be underlined, just because, yeah, I include that underline. But yeah, birth's going to be identified uniquely by just taking the baby's ID, and you can just reference it back to the birth. Is there anything that we could add on to help handle twins or anything like that? That's the fun cog that I'm going to throw in, because we talked about that on the earlier part of this problem. If you have a set of twins, is there anything unique we can add to help like explain that situation more? If not, we can just say no and move on. But
Sorry, why do we underline ID?
this one,
Yeah, like all.
or all of them, those are just the keys.
Okay.
So if you're a key attribute into identifying into the entity set, you underline that attribute. But yeah, I mean, we don't have to, it's all good. All right, cool. I guess that'll be, is there any other questions on the homework, or do you guys want to just go to the portfolio lab? Because everyone seems to have turned it in already. Sorry to force you guys to do my fun homework session, but no? All right. So yeah, portfolio lab, bunch of fun. You gonna take a?
Yeah, I'll take
All right, sweet. And here is Mike, talk about portfolio lab.
Okay, guys, give me a minute to set up. But
I'm gonna leave the video.
so has anyone started?